Autobots, transform!
What's up, everybody? Welcome to my toy review. I am George. I go by the 80s Transformer fan. If you've never seen one of my toy reviews, I love to unbox and I love to compare toys whenever I can in my reviews. And they're not really reviews. I just take a look at the toy, basically. We're just gonna look at it and see what's up. This is Tung Lashor from Super 7. This is his mailer box. This is what they call the Club Grayskull figures, and they're done on the anime style. They're meant to look closely like the cartoon as opposed to the original toys. And they're a take on the Master of the Universe Classics figures, which are a take on the vintage figures. And inside the slip cover is Tung Lashor. Oh, while I was talking, I didn't show you a good look. Slip cover is just the bridge to the drawbridge to Grayskull. Back Master of the Universe, Super 7. Side of the castle, side of the castle. And the same thing here. But wow, magically it's opened up. And here is Tung Lashor in the packaging. This is one of those figures that they didn't have to make for me. But I'll get into that. Side of the packaging, same duplicate thing. Back of the packaging. Here is the artwork. Filmation style from She-Ra. There is the fright zone back there. Here is a bit of a bio here. I'm going to hold it for a second and then now you can pause it and read it. I'm going to move on. Side of the box, side of the castle, bottom of the box, nothing special. There is the Club Grayskull. There it says it right there. I knew it had it on the package somewhere. Master of the Universe Classics Club Grayskull to be precise. Super 7 there. And we're going to get him out of the box. Like I said, this is one of the guys. I loved his vintage figure and I like his classics figure. You know, I've never opened it. When I saw him on a cartoon, I was like a lot of people like, what the what? It was like the artist that drew the cartoon Tung Lashor never saw the vintage figure. They was like, what does he look like? He's a purplish, someone was like, he's a purplish pink snake man. And it was like, say no more. And then that's what we got. And they never saw the vintage toy where he looked more like a frog, which was actually sweet. So here he is in the packaging. He's packaged with a blaster and looks like a jetpack. And I don't know what that's about. Maybe I could have like researched it a little bit more, but that's not the type of guy that I am. I just like to dig into the box and go at it. So as I go along with this review, you will probably notice things that I'm not even noticing because I don't pre-play with my toys when I review them unless I've had them for a long time. I try to just take them out the package and just go at it like anybody would. Only I'm just doing it on camera. So this is me playing with my toys for the first time. He's packaged with this little laser gun. It has some little cool detailing. I hate the little flat finish paint that they put on these. A lot of people like it and say, well, it's supposed to be simplistic. Just make it a simplistic plastic. That way I don't have to worry about the little flat finish rubbing off and then trying to find it and touch it up and restore it. So that is his little blaster. He's packaged with this little booster pack. Same thing, kind of weird looking paint. And then the part where it's sculpted to fit onto his back, it looks all chewed up. Looks like somebody filed it down later. It don't look like a master craftsman did this, you know. Anyway, and he's packaged with a spare head to mimic his tongue lashing gimmick. So anyway, I'm going to move my packaging and get to this guy. And a lot of people say they like it because he looks more like a snake in this form than he did in the other one where he looked more like a tree frog. And he did look like a tree frog in the other version, but it was kind of cool. This guy looks like Denver the dinosaur or something. He looks like a little punk, like snake man, but he looks more dinosaur-ish or something. Slee stack or something, I don't know. But let's take a look at what we do have. He has giant blue eyes with like the little serpent slit, which is kind of weird. But then again, it's not if you really think about it. But anyway, he has the little protruding teeth outside of his mouth that are painted in. He has like the little nostrils. And that's, I don't know. I'm not buying it. This one looks more like a snake. I'm not buying it. But the paint on his head is good, coming to his chest. The Horde logo is molded and raised, which is nice. And that paint there is good. The paint on his belt looks good. Now, what he has on, like, gold tights? I don't know. But looking around this guy, his paint is good. Got a little off paint here. It's just a little bit. It's cool. It's cool. On the back of his gauntlet. Coming down further, his legs, I'm assuming this is the color of the plastic. Nope. It's actually painted over. You can see they use that actual color plastic. I guess they just intended to have this paint on top of it, but I prefer if they just left it the plastic. But you can see the plastic and then the paint closer to the pen. But they could have just left it that color. I don't get that. I don't like when my toys can actually rub off when they could have just used plastic. And his feet. His feet are done well. Standard little demon feet. It's not. He's a very simplistic figure. It's not much to that guy. To this guy. So run down his articulation and see how well his joints hold up. He can get his arms up this far, 360 it pretty easily. He has the bicep swivel. Coming to his elbow, standard elbow bend. The buck is basically your standard classics figure. And it's not far from your DC figures if you had the DC classic. He has a hinge at the wrist, but I'm having trouble getting mine to hinge over. There it is. It's just a little stiff. And it has a wrist swivel. And that's pretty much it. He has the ab crunch that some of the guys don't have now. And he can get this much out of it. Back, front, which is pretty cool. Waist will completely 360, even though there's no purpose for that. And you can get a good split going on. He can go this way with it, about that far. He has like the double hinge, the ball and the hinge and the peg in there. He has the upper thigh swivel, which is mine. There it is. I had to break it on a couple. On Merman, I didn't want to break it, but you got to kind of break the paint that's in there. And I thought I was going to break Merman's boot cut. Thought he didn't have one. And then, yeah, the paint's all in the joints. And he can get his knee up this high. Again, like they could have just left it this color plastic like the pen is. I would have been just fine with it. Coming down to the boot cut. And here's swivels very easily, ironically. About that far. And then coming down to his foot. Has a good hinge down there. Has the rocker. You can rock his foot from side to side. You can break his leg. But I didn't see a lot of the She-Ra episodes, but I did see him on a few episodes and thought he was pretty whack. And speaking of that, I'm going to bring it up because this is one of his accessories, the rocket pack. I don't remember seeing this on episode, but there's a hole in his back and like the little chewed up scope right there. This just doesn't look professional. This looks like some customizer is making them and selling them on eBay or something. But anyway, plug it into his back. Holds pretty good. And I guess he can... Again, I don't know. I don't remember the episode. Maybe I could dig something up before I actually edit and put this review out. And apparently it's not holding that great. And it seems like the peg could be a little bit long. Well, it is. I guess I bumped it out. It's cool. It's holding pretty good. But there's his rocket pack accessory. I'm going to get out his handgun. And I'm probably going to scrape the paint off the darn thing. Put it in his hand. Looks like his hand is plastic and not painted. I mean, I know it's plastic. It looks like they didn't paint over the plastic, I should say, which is cool. So it's a little bit of a tight fit, which is what you want, so he can grip it over some years. Here's with his little pistol. It's a cool looking little pistol too. Doesn't look like it's doing much damage, but a gun is a gun. And I don't even know what voice he had. I would love to try to mimic his voice, but I don't know what he had. So now I'm going to move on to his head, try to pop his head off and go to the alternate head. And his head, ooh, what is this? It's like some film inside mine. I don't know. Ew. I'm on a kid. And by the way, his joints are tight. Everything is stiff on him. He has nothing loose on him. And I figured, by him being a figure I like the least, they would do the best quality control on the figure that I like the least, or assume that I would like the least. Here's the alternate head, and you can see where they actually changed the mouth, cut the scope to get a tongue in there. I'm assuming it's the exact same head, and they just recut the mold, which is crazy. And inside here it has an A, and inside here it has a B, right in there. So anyway, I'm gonna get this popped on to like this drool or whatever that is. Alright, got it on. Put the backpack back on there. And here is Tung Lashor with his tongue lashing. And then again, like all these figures from Super 7, you can't get anything. His head is stuck right here. Like this is all I can do with it. And backpack down again. And it feels like it doesn't halfway want to rotate, like it's bouncing back. Look at it. But you can get it to rotate completely 360, but they still need to do some work on these figures. But as far as quality control, this is one of the best figures. I guess because he's very simplistic. There's a little bit of bleed on the neck, but that's nothing major. I'm just pointing it out because there's so many problems with these figures. I'm just gonna try to be thorough as I can. But he's well done. He's not the figure that I've wanted, and I don't have any love for him, but he's well done. He certainly looks cartoon. I don't care if I didn't even see the cartoon. With those eyes and the simplicity, he looks very, very cartoony. And if I was to display him, his tongue would just have to be out all the time. His tongue is kind of rigid, but you can move it a little bit, but it's not going to hold. So that is Tung Lashor. Here is the Classics Tung Lashor. This is styled after the vintage. If you've never seen the vintage, it's like this, just a little bit more squat. Has the purple detailing, the orange chest, the black gloves on, and kind of looks like a tree frog in there. And you can see this looks nothing like this guy. So in that aspect, he fulfills the animation look, and I guess a lot of people really would want this figure because the whole point of this line is to look like the animation. And there's no point look like the animation. The animation is very close to the vintage figures, but this one is a complete leap away. Not only he actually changed factions, he's no longer a Snake Man. I guess technically he's still a Snake Man, but he doesn't have the Snake Man logo. He switched factions to the Horde, has the giant Horde logo, and has a completely different deco. So he's one of the better guys done as well. I think I said it before, say it again. And this has been George H. Transformer Fan. You can no longer get this guy at retail. You got to grab it secondhand market if you want it. And if you like it, the one I have, this is done well. And I'll see you soon.